Test matches. 5 days of sunshine. The sound of leather on willow. Slip, slop, slap. Stay safe. A few beers with good friends and a huge money spinner through the gates on the right occasion. Minus overhead conditions that you can't control. The one condition that the pitch is up to scratch and gives a fair contest between bat and between ball. Oh, it's supposed to last 5 days. The recent test match between India and England saw the Bunsen burner nice little turner cause huge uproar on Twitter, particularly on our channel. The latest video that we did seemed to spark a little bit of a row between what exactly is a quality test match pitch. Generally a pitch that has Joe Root taking 5 wickets on the second day, last took 5 wickets against his brother in the back garden, doesn't really show that it's a high class quality test match wicket. Although not dangerous, except for some people's mental health watching it and typing the best that they can in 140 characters. And England were definitely not in danger, except for Axar Patel's arm ball. Overall it was a poor test match cricket wicket, but not the worst wicket of all time. This is Leading Edge Cricket, and as a follow up to the last video which caused a huge debate, we are going to take a look at 5 of the all time worst surfaces. If you know some surfaces that aren't covered in this top 5, let us know in the comments below what makes your top 5. Leave a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are brand new around here. Let's do it. Number 5. India vs Sri Lanka One Day International, 27th of December 2009, Delhi. When you watch One Day International cricket you expect fireworks. Not now, Katy Perry. And when 2 of the very best One Day International teams in the world meet in 2009 in Delhi, those fireworks just seem to be a whole lot grander. Dilshan, Jayasuriya, Sangakkara, Sehwag, a young Kohli, a Pete Dhoni and Harbhajan Singh for a few runs down the order. Alright. The series was already wrapped up, the fans expected fireworks in this final contest, but fireworks isn't quite what they got. Sunil Gavaskar wasn't very impressed. He took one look at the wicket and said it looks like a poor hair transplant. I dread to know what he'll say about me. Hello. But the match did have its moment. Zaheer Khan getting the prize wicket of Upal Tharanga. First ball! Mahendra Singh Dhoni giving an absolute masterclass in how to keep wickets standing back when the balls are keeping low. Use your pads. An Oscar-nominated performance from Tilakaratne Dilshan after being struck from Ashish Nehra, and a not quite over the hill Sanath Jayasuriya taking blow after blow and coming back with a cover drive. Sri Lanka were in tatters, 83 for 5 from 23 overs when Jayasuriya and Jayawardene waved down the match officials like they had somewhere else to go. The umpires got together based on this information and watching the pitch for the last 23 overs and decide there's quite a lot of variable bounce. Too much for some. In fact, it was dangerous, and an hour and 10 minutes after their deep discussions, match cancelled. Thanks for coming lads. Fireworks. The problem with the wicket was either one or the other. If it hit the grass bit, it was shooting through it head high. If it missed it and hit the bowl bits, it'd shoot along the floor and put Dhoni into action. The aftermath would lead to the sacking of the BCCI Groundsman, who, to be fair, you've got to question whether he did his job very well. And the pitch had had a history of poor, slow, low wickets over the previous few years. With the Cricket World Cup in India in 2011, a 2-year ban could have been catastrophic. Sorry Delhi, we've got the World Cup in India, but you're not allowed to host any games. Your wicket's not good enough. That wasn't the case though. Delhi was given a 12-month ban from international cricket, got their good stuff together and was ready to host cricket in 2011 when India won the World Cup. Number 4. South Africa vs India, 3rd test, January 24th to 28th 2018, the Wanderers. This is worse than Ross and Rachel from Friends. They're on again, they're off again. They're on again, they're off again. We were on a break! This was a very, very good Indian team, and they came into this final test match 2-0 down already and with a mindset of everything to prove. India had been on a fantastic run, winning test series at home like they're going out of fashion, but historically have always struggled in different conditions such as England, South Africa or Australia. The series had been tough, but tougher was to come playing England over in England, and this was their opportunity to make a stand. A stand which started several days before the first ball was even bowled when Ravi Shastri looked at the practice wickets and said, "Get the rollers out son." The pitches were not good enough. Faf du Plessis even backed him up and agreed that the practice facility was not up to par. A1 and a good bowling surface provided no shocks as India were rolled for 187. Pujara and Kohli both making really hard working 50s in the middle of the order, and South Africa took a 7-run lead after their first innings with Jasprit Bumrah taking 5 wickets. The scene for drama is set. No longer was Ravi Shastri worried about the practice nets. Ravi Shastri in the world was watching this pitch and going, what even is that? Former South African legend Sean Pollock took a look at the pitch with Sunil Gavaskar during a pitch report for Supersport television. Huge cracks in the middle of the pitch were pointed out for everyone to see, and pictures showing the extravagant movement up, down, left and right was all too blatant. And Sean Pollock is a very good cricketer and a very good man to know about pitches. If it's moving around like this on day 2, it's not a very good wicket. That's why they pay you the big bucks, Sean. But Kohli was at it again. 247 India made. Kohli, Rahane, right at the heart of the effort. The pitch was offering variable bounce, the batsmen wearing more balls than hitting them, and it was quite a beautifully dogged effort by this Indian team. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't the glitz, it wasn't the glamour, it wasn't the IPL. This was good old-fashioned hard test cricket, and India were making a huge step up. India had just showed us one of their toughest gritty moments in test cricket ever. Tough? You've not seen tough? Dean Elgar. The man epitomises toughness and grit. Elgar got hit 8 times in the second innings and was absolutely instrumental in providing some sort of resistance to this India attack and the falling apart wicket. But it was the one that hit him on the grill near the end of day 3 that forced Ian Gould and Alim Dar to come together and abandon play for the remainder of the day. No one quite knows how, but on the start of day 4 the players resumed play after having come off the pitch for a dangerous pitch the day previously. And incredibly, the pitch did appear to have less erratic bounce on day 4, but still provided lots of sideward movement for the seamers. And the big moment came. Ishant Sharma steaming in a spell of 2 for 15, taking 2 prize South African wickets. Hashim Amla and Faf du Plessis. In what was an absolutely gruelling second half of the game, India went through to victory by 63 runs, but was unable to dismiss the gritty Dean Elgar, who made an absolutely inspired 86 off 240 balls and simply couldn't be removed. ICC match referee Andy Picott had the following to say: the pitch prepared for the final test match was a poor one. Good at his job he is. It had excessive steep and unpredictable bounce and excessive seam movement. It deteriorated quickly as the match progressed, which made batting extremely difficult and hazardous, resulting in the medical team from both sides having to come onto the field of play multiple times to treat their batsmen. Interesting, when India was batting there was no calls that the play needed to be stopped, but when South Africa were batting, that's where play was abandoned. Not saying there's anything in it, as the on-field umpires are responsible for the player's safety. They expressed concerns about the behaviour of the pitch. Naughty. And after day 3 they debated whether the match should go on. In the end the umpires made the decision to continue and the test reached its natural conclusion on day 4. However, there was still excessive bounce and seam movement when the test finished on day 4. The pitch may have been poor, but the test match itself gave way to an absolutely enthralling and gruelling contest between bat and ball, and one for every Indian fan that will live long into the memory. Number 3. Sri Lanka versus India. First test, Colombo, August 2nd to August 6th, 1997. Not every pitch has to be dangerous to be classed as a poor one, or provide 20 wickets in a day, 20 wickets in a whole test. Colombo was the host for the 1997 series and first test match between India on the tour of Sri Lanka. India looked at the main road running straight through the middle of the pitch in Colombo and said, we'll have a bat. And 3 Centurions would raise their bat to the crowd over the next 167 overs. Navjot Sidhu would score his 8th test century, and a 221 run stand between 2 Indian icons, Sachin Tendulkar and Mohammad Azharuddin. Both saw them raise their bats to the crowd. This Indian team of 1997 had some really iconic names: Tendulkar, Azharuddin, Rao Dravid and Sourav Ganguly. How did you go, Sourav? Oh, 0. Don't worry, the team's on 451 when you got out, mate. Only 4 wickets down is fine. Oh God, I hope he enjoys fielding. 271 runs later, Sri Lanka declared and the test match was a draw. 3.5 days in the field, Mr Ganguly. 271 overs, 6 wickets. It's literally like looking at my bowling stats from 2004. The innings is incredible. It started at the back end of day 2 and lasted all the way until the 5th day. Easy game test cricket. Neeraj Kulkarni, come on down. First ball in test wicket on an absolute road, gets a wicket. He also finished with figures as 1 for 195. Not so easy now, is it? 952 for 6 declared on day 5. No results possible other than the draw Both teams shook hands. Manama made a beautiful 225. English county legend Aravinda de Silva with a beautiful 126, classy as ever. Arjuna Rangatunga walked 86 as he does, just don't rush me. Mahela Jayawardena, one of the all-time greats, made his test debut in this game and scored 66. And Manama and Jayasuriya put on 576 for the second wicket, the highest second wicket partnership of all time. And at the end of day 4, Sanath was there on 326 not out, and the crowds were beginning to build. 30,000 tickets were given away on the final day to kids at the local schools, so they could come in and potentially witness history as Jayasuriya, one boundary at a time, was marching down Brian Lara's 375. Was about to be. Chauhan pulled the pin on it on 340. He's not read the book, he's not read the script. This would have been massive, the second biggest Sri Lankan party since they won the World Cup the year before, and getting caught in close by that man, the Fresh Prince Ganguly. It's quite the most incredible achievement, 340 runs, which is still the highest score by a Sri Lankan ever, but the fact that he started batting on day 2 and finished on day 5. Take a bow, and a shower, and a rest. 952 for 6 is the highest test innings score ever by a team, and please, 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 for the love of God, spare a thought for Aravinda de Silva, who was padded up for 13 hours. Pad rash. This may surprise you, the second test match also ended up a draw. Ganguly made 100. Number 2, Victoria and Western Australia Sheffield Shield, 7th of December 2019. 19 days prior to the 2019 Boxing Day test between Australia and New Zealand, the MCG served up an absolute dog's dinner of a wicket and threw the test match into disarray. To be fair, saying dog's dinner is a little bit offensive to dogs. The MCG wicket had been a little flat over the previous few years, and a real dismal display in the Ashes against England on the wicket had led to calls for a little bit more spice in the wicket. A pinch, not a whole condiment. Some class players were on display. Peter Siddle struck Sean Marsh early on, straight in the grill, off a length. Stoinis was struck early and looked really happy about it, before taking one absolutely flush in the rib cage Sonny, and went down quicker than if I picked a fight with Sonny Bill Williams. And after being dismissed, Sean Marsh tracked down the match referee and said, "Oi, have you seen that? Dog's dinner," and demanded that the play be halted. Now let's keep in mind that this is 2019, post Phil Hughes getting struck, and player safety is absolutely paramount. And only 40 overs were needed of people being pinned from a length on day 1 of a wicket before they said enough's enough. Interestingly enough, the pitch was rolled, looked at, rolled again before they made the sensible choice to abandon play. New Zealand would still play the Boxing Day test match for the first time since the 1980s, and it wouldn't go very well. Number 1. West Indies versus England, January 30th to February 3rd, 1998. 30th of January only, Kingston. That Ahmedabad wicket was rubbish. What about Sabina Park? Nothing in the history of cricket will even get close to the 56 minutes of absolute carnage at Sabina Park. 5-day test, only 10.1 overs were bowled. The ferocious pictures I remember as a kid of watching these England batsmen getting pinned and jumping around still send shivers down my spine today. Being 13 years old, I quickly ran in the back garden and tried to reenact getting pinned with a tennis ball from 12 yards. But this is 2021, and now when I watch this video, it is damn scary. Ambrose and Walsh with a brand new ball in their hand is scary. 46 all out is scary. He won the toss. Oh, Athers. Michael Atherton won the toss, looked at it and chose to bat. Cheers, Skip. Tell you what, everyone talks about Nasser Hussain having the worst call of all time. Michael Atherton, look what you've done to your team. In hindsight, Brian Lara turned round and said he would probably have a bowl. Wise man. The pitch had visible ripples all the way down it and patches of green and boldness. And the first over was enough to see exactly what we're going to get. One of the first balls bounced and went through to the keeper 3 times on the bounce, and the very next ball almost exploded off a length and went over his head. Well, that's inconsistent. Atherton had better ideas than getting pinned every single ball and decided to nick off. Oh god, here comes Poppadom hands. Hussain was struck on the hands. Wayne Morton, the England physio, made sure he was getting his 10,000 steps, being on and off the pitch every 2 minutes. And Thorpe and Stewart could have filed a GBH claim against the West Indies when the match was stopped at 10.1 overs. The umpires were in contact with the match referee after the 56 minutes and, with an unprecedented decision, made a call to abandon the test match due to player safety. This is in an era where it was over my dead body and man up was the regular call. It was good to see the human side of the game start to come out. Player safety should always be paramount. Match abandoned. Another really human story that came out this game was about the groundsman. Charles Joseph looked after Sabina Park for 49 years and talks about it in the same vein that he does his daughter, after becoming a dad on the same day that he took over Sabina Park as the groundsman, age 16. Charles was suspended that evening, the English threw beer bottles at him, and he openly wept on the wicket that he cared so much about. His daughter had got a bad name because of him. Over the course of the next 2 months, things would spiral out of control for Charles, and at points would find himself at his absolute lowest ebb and attempted suicide twice. Reinstated as groundsman 2 months later, Charles was never quite the same, saying, "I think Charles died that day at 11:20 on January the 29th. I think I'm his ghost." And it's a real good reminder that there's always someone behind whatever has happened, whether good or bad. It's going to affect people in different ways. I for one am really happy to read Charles's story, and it's the fact that he's been around for 49 years, lived on the ground, loved this pitch like his daughter, is everything that cricket's about. It's about passion, it's love, it's community. And guys, that is the 5 worst pitches of all time according to Leading Edge Cricket today. Let me know what you think in terms of the worst pitches. Feel free to check out some of the other content on the channel. You can watch the video about that Ahmedabad third test wicket, or where we go and rank every England test opener since 2012. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the cricket coming up. You've been legends. Stay safe, stay well. Till next time.